Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying God is causing your pain or your heartache or your suffering. But I'm saying God will use it to draw you closer. Probably beforehand. So Jesus follows the Spirit into the desert. It says he is led by the Spirit. Leading would imply someone's doing the following, right? So Jesus follows the Spirit into the desert. He's being prepared for his 3 years of ministry, and his time in the desert is a precursor to the distractions that will come. And these distractions or tests are often ones that we face and sometimes fail. Now, first, Satan, the tempter, it's called. Some call him the accuser, all right? Satan appeals to Jesus' physical needs. His need for food after fasting. Naturally, he would have been hungry, right? 40 days of fasting, he's hungry. Satan says, turn these stones to bread. I mean, what harm could it really do? Wouldn't God want his son to be filled up with good stuff? After all, bread's a good thing, right? Don't buy into the lie that because you are a child of God, that you are exempt from physical suffering. God wants your heart above all else. And if a season of pain can bring you closer to God, then rejoice in your suffering and pray, God, use my suffering. But don't trade your heart for a mere piece of bread. Next thing Satan, the accuser, the tempter does, the devil does, he appeals to Jesus' psychological needs, challenging him to confirm the power of God. I mean, doesn't that make perfect sense? Surely you and I could rationalize through this one. Wouldn't God want Jesus to show Satan the power of God's only Son? I mean, God just expressed his approval at Jesus' baptism, but Jesus recognized that God's power is never to be exploited. And God has nothing to prove. Also, don't engage in if-then scenarios with God. God has nothing to prove. God, if I, then will you. Or, God, if you only will, then I will. God's not to be bargained with. Our faith is not a tool or a weapon to be wielded. Again, God is after your heart. Lastly, Satan, the tempter, the accuser, he appeals to Jesus' ego. The lure of power and position. It's often unearned. I mean, after all, doesn't the end justify the means? Jesus came to save us, so couldn't he do this much quicker and easier if he simply ruled over us and we were made to comply with his wishes? But the ends do not justify the means.